What's up, champions? Welcome back to JetSurf Nation, your place where we test and review different jetboards and EFOILs. As you know, I'm a big fan of EFOILs and I have been using EFOILs for several years now. I reviewed all existing EFOILs on the market and I really love the sport. But lately I've been looking into how I can progress further into real foiling sports such as prone foiling, wing foiling, kite foiling, and I was looking into the system called Foildrive, which helps you motorize your existing foiling gear. In case you missed my full video review, make sure to check it out. A few months ago I tested Foildrive in different conditions with different setups, so make sure to check it out in the description below. So after I switched to Foildrive, I almost never use EFOILs anymore. And you're probably wondering, is it time for me to sell my EFOILs and switch fully to Foildrive? But not so fast. So in this video we're going to compare EFOILs to existing foil gear motorized by Foildrive and see pros and cons of each setup and see which works for you better. It's not so easy. Are you ready? Let's get started. Now, if you're new to this market, let me quickly show you the difference between EFOILs and Foildrive. As you can see here I have Liftfoils, EFOILs, and the biggest difference is that motor is located closer to the wings. In some EFOILs like Fliteboard, it's located straight on the fuselage level. With this setup, your motor must always stay in the water. If you breach, the motor gets out of the water and you will fall down. With Foildrive it's completely different idea. The motor is closer to the board, which helps you get going, get on the foil, but once you're on the foil, once you're riding on the wave, the motor gets out of the water and you actually go with zero drag using the power of the wave, which is much more fun on the waves because you have no drag whatsoever. To reduce drag in the waves, EFOIL companies are coming with different solutions. For example, folding prop, which closes when you ride the wave. You still have some drag because obviously the motor stays inside the water, but the drag is quite minimal. Companies like Fliteboard have free spinning, so-called true glide prop, which also has very low drag to ride in the wave. The advantage of EFOIL in this case, it lets you go completely on the flat water. You can cruise for hours on the lake, on the flat water. Your motor always stays inside, so there is no problem with this. With this setup you're not going to be EFOILing for hours. The sole purpose of this is to give you assistance to ride in the waves. That's the biggest difference. Now, another big difference is the weight. EFOILs are very heavy. They're about 30 to 35 kilograms, some of them are even 40 kilograms. It's extremely heavy, and the lightest EFOILs on the market right now, such as Fliteboard Ultra or Liftfoils 4.2, are about 28 kilograms, which is very heavy. And like I always say, you are not surfing the board, you are surfing the foil, so the wing is what matters. And when you have so much extra dead weight, once you're on the foil, you really don't need all this extra weight. It creates extra swing weight, it creates more drag, it's getting harder to go, harder to pump, so there are a lot of disadvantages having so much extra weight. On the other hand, this setup is extremely lightweight. The whole system with the board, the battery, the motor, the wings, the mast, all together is just 13 kilograms. It's extremely lightweight, extremely easy to bring to the water, easy to get out of the water. I love it. So in terms of the weight, obviously Foildrive setup is getting 1 point here. However, not so fast. With lightweight we have very light battery, which means you're not going to get a lot of power with this setup. So if you're a heavy rider, if you're a beginner, this will not going to work for you. You need something more powerful like an EFOIL. EFOIL battery is huge, it provides you with a lot of energy, and this motor obviously is bigger, it's more powerful, it provides you more torque, and you can go much easier. You can easily start, easily get on the foil, and easily ride in EFOIL even in the flat water. So in terms of the power, we have a clear winner here, an EFOIL. Which brings me to another parameter, the speed. And here again we have a clear winner, an EFOIL. EFOILs are very fast, they can reach a speed up to 55 kilometers per hour. You can go extremely fast, you can race in eFoiling cups, you can do hardcore riding, sharp turns, carving, everything else you can do with race wings on an EFOIL. Obviously this setup is quite weak, the motor is very weak, so it's not going to give you any speed whatsoever. Plus you will have to use a high aspect ratio wings like I have here to compensate for weak power, otherwise you will not get on the foil at all. So if you're looking into the fast racing, fast speeds, adrenaline rides, definitely go for an EFOIL. Here EFOIL gets 1 point. Another advantage of having a heavy powerful system like an EFOIL is the riding time. With EFOIL you can ride up to 1.5 hours or sometimes up to 2 hours non-stop riding with a powerful battery. With this setup, if you are just using it like an EFOIL, continuously using the power, you are not going to get more than 20 minutes of riding time. However, to be fair, some people use it as assistance on the wave. So they release the power, then they use the power of the wave, and they can extend the riding time up to 1 hour. But as for me personally, I got 3 light batteries of Foildrive, so I can go back to the beach, relax a little bit, drink some water, switch the battery and get back to the water and ride once again. And also I have to be fair here, once you get good with EFOILs, you're not going to be enjoying cruising for 2 hours every day. It's quite easy to ride an EFOIL and it can get quite boring if all that you do is just riding and cruising around in the same place. That's why when I used EFOIL a lot, I really didn't need so much of the battery time and I switched to the lighter battery. But all in all, clearly EFOIL is a winner when it comes down to the riding time. The next parameter is pumping. Can you pump on EFOIL? And the short answer is no. Maybe a couple of meters you can do it if you try real hard on a big wing, but that's not really pumping. With your own foiling gear, when the motor gets out of the water, you have high aspect ratio wing like Axis pump, like Axis PNG 1010, you can pump for a long time, you can really enjoy it and learn pumping. This is very exciting to do on foils. So we have a clear winner in this parameter. 1 point to Foildrive. The next is jumping and tricks. EFOIL is a clear winner in this category. You can do amazing jumps and tricks. It has so much power. You can fly in the sky. It's amazing what you can do. You can jump on the waves. You can do 360 rotations. Check out videos by Simon from Fliteboard. He's showing amazing tricks. The system like Foildrive with high aspect ratio wings is not suitable for any jumping. It doesn't have enough power and high aspect ratio wings are not recommended for jumping. So in this category, a clear winner, EFOIL. Next, riding waves depowered. As you know, I really love to ride waves depowered. You release the trigger and you fly like a bird, no noise, just by the power of a wave. It's a true surfing feeling. Yes, you can do it with EFOILs, it's quite enjoyable. You release the trigger, the propeller closes if you're using the folding prop, or True Glide keeps on spinning. You have little drag, but you can still ride the wave, depowered, and enjoy it. However, let's be honest, here we have a clear winner, your own prone foiling board with the Foildrive, because once the motor gets out of the water and you enjoy zero drag experience on the waves, and this is actually much more fun. Plus there is so much less extra swing weight. This setup is so lightweight, so you enjoy the surfing feeling much better. It gives you much longer glides, you can pump back, you can enjoy turns which you can never do with a heavy EFOIL. So in this category, riding waves depowered, we have a clear winner, Foildrive. If you are in very strong winds, here we have some advantage for EFOIL. A heavy EFOIL provides you with inertia, so it gets you into the wave, especially if you have offshore wind in your face. With a lightweight setup, you'll be stopped, you'll be stalling. With heavy EFOIL, you'll have inertia and a momentum to get going, to keep going in the waves. So even if you have strong offshore wind, you can easily use an EFOIL. With this setup, I would suggest going down winging, so the wing goes into your back, not into your face, for best results. However, again, if it's very windy, why not switch to wing foiling? And again here, Foildrive can help you with that. The next category is traveling. Is it airplane friendly? The short answer is no. EFOILs are not airplane friendly because of the big battery. It's a nightmare to ship the battery and your board can get smashed as well because it's very heavy. So I strongly recommend not to travel with your EFOIL and just rent it on the place where you come. Just find the dealer in the location of your vacation, just talk to them, take a rental and enjoy. Don't take your board on the plane. With Foildrive it's a different story. The whole setup is much lighter, it's smaller, it's more compact, easier to take with you, the board, and the smallest batteries they offer are actually airplane friendly. You can take 2 little batteries and take it with you on the plane, it's allowed. So So in this category, in case you want to travel with your gear, the winner is Foildrive. The next category, is it beginner friendly? The answer is yes, EFOILs are best for beginners. With a big board, for example, Fliteboard Air, you can take lessons, you can enjoy it safely, you can even stand up on the board without foiling and learn it very safely, in a very controlled way. It has a lot of power, it's very easy to glide, very easy to control the power. Now, this setup is not for beginners, I'll have to be honest with you. And this system is made to motorize your existing gear. And if you're a complete beginner, what gear do you have? You have no idea what board to buy, what mast to buy, what wings will work for you. It's impossible for beginner to choose the right gear, and you cannot just buy everything and try it. So this setup is definitely not for beginner. This setup for people who were already e-foiling for a couple of years like me, and then they want to progress further, but they already know what foiling is about, what wings work for your weight, what skill you have, so you can make a right choice, choosing the right gear without wasting too much money on different gear that you have no clue about. So in this category, if you're a beginner, definitely go for a lesson with an EFOIL. Which brings me to another point, what experiments you can do, what modifications and customization can you do with your gear. With EFOIL, to be honest, you cannot do much. For example, you have Liftfoils, well, you can change the wings, you can try different wings, but you can only put wings from Liftfoils, you cannot just put wings from Axis, you cannot put wings from Fliteboard into this. So you are very limited with the customization, with modifications that you can try. On the other hand, with Foildrive, there is no limit. You can try different wings. In this case, you are not married to one brand. You can see I have mast from Axis, the board from Liftfoils. You can switch them all, you can try different combinations and see which works for you. So in this category, obviously we have a winner, Foildrive. The next point is the price. You probably assume here Foildrive is much cheaper, which is true, but not so fast. Yes, it's cheaper, but don't forget that you have to buy the gear and the board separately, while in case of EFOILs, everything comes in a box. The board, the battery, everything is there already. So if you combine the prices of the Foildrive and then buying gear, different wings, it will come almost to the same level. So there is no clear winner in this category. It's more or less the same price. And I know you always ask me what's the price, and the prices range from about 5,000 to 6,000 for entry level EFOILs to 12,000 for the high-end EFOILs. The next point is which one is a better workout, which is a better exercise for you if you want to get in shape. And here, let me just say it, in my opinion, EFOIL is not a workout. And I know there are exceptional individuals like Simon from Fliteboard who can ride really hard, real fast, jump and do all these amazing tricks. But let's be honest, majority of people who ride EFOILs just cruise around on the flat lake, and honestly I can go like 2 hours on EFOIL and don't break a sweat. While with Foildrive on the prone board, on the small board, you go pumping, you go real hard, it's a real exercise, and my legs are burning after 20 minutes of using this. So this is a true sport and a true workout. While the eFoiling is mostly the ride for fun and enjoyment. So speaking of fun, which is more fun? It's quite hard to say, but let me give you a comparison. Imagine you come to beautiful Alps to enjoy the mountains. EFOIL is like a cable car. You jump on the cable car and it takes you there. It's quite fun to see around, but how many times you can do it before you get bored? Same with EFOIL. It's very fun when you start it, but if you do same thing all over again and you don't progress, it gets old. Sooner or later you'll be bored if you're not progressing further. The system like Foildrive we can compare to hiking. First, it looks hard. Hiking the mountain is hard, but each time you progress further, it gets easier, it gets more fun. So you see where I'm going with it. Something that can be easier is not definitely more fun in the long run. Which brings me to the final point of our video. What is the right way to learn foiling? The first step for you, if you never tried foiling before, the easiest way is to get a lesson with a big eFoil like Fliteboard Air. This is the easiest and by far the fastest way to understand if foiling is for you. And like I always say, get a lesson on the biggest board you can find and then buy the smallest board you can have for yourself. Big boards for lessons, small boards for personal use. Well, you'll get good with EFOILs quite fast because it's quite easy to learn. So the smaller board will give you more fun in the long term. And finally, after a few seasons of riding eFoils when you feel you hit the limit, so you're not progressing further and you want something lighter, you can actually try system like Foildrive. You can buy your existing gear, you'll already understand everything about the wings, the mast, the board size that works for you, so you don't need to waste time on different combinations. You'll go straight to the setup, to the gear that works for you. To summarize, the first step is a lesson on a big inflatable eFoil, then buying the smallest eFoil for your personal use, and once you're good with eFoiling and you're ready to progress further, you can buy your own gear and then you automate it using a system like a Foildrive. You'll already know what setup works for you, what wings you need, so you don't waste time and money on unnecessary gear. So to summarize, the first step is to get a lesson on the biggest eFoil you can find and then buy the smallest eFoil for your personal use. And finally, after a few seasons of riding your own eFoil, when you feel that you hit the limit, get your own gear and automate it using the system like Foildrive for maximum fun. That's all for today, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. Oh, in case you're wondering what kind of headphones I always have on my neck, that's called Aftershock. It's bone induction, waterproof headphones that I always take with me when I go eFoiling. It's much more fun with music, trust me. There you have it, guys. As always, let me know in the comments below what setup you use and what kind of board you want me to test in future. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Cheers!